welcome back to my channel. My name is T. Today I wanted to do a video on imposter syndrome. It's something I've just been struggling with. It's just something I've been dealing with for the past 2.5 weeks. If you guys don't know, I started my new job. It's at like the #1 investment bank in the world. I do risk, and obviously it's a lot of pressure just because of literally like it's the #1. It's so huge. It's a global firm and you're working with the best of the best and the brightest of the brightest. And I don't know, well actually let me start off with the definition of imposter syndrome, so if you guys don't know. So imposter syndrome, also known as imposter phenomenon, imposterism, fraud syndrome, or the imposter experience, is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud, despite external evidence of their competence. I can just, that's literally what I've been dealing with, which is funny. I never felt imposter syndrome. I remember my best friend talking about it when she had first started her job, and just like, she had so much anxiety, and I didn't quite get it because I was just like, what? And now it's funny because I'm literally dealing with it. I'm feeling it, and it's really hard. I know for me, I'm a very career oriented person, so I think you can have imposter syndrome in just various things. Like, right, you might go to social settings and, you know, feel like an imposter because, you know, maybe don't feel cool enough or whatever the case may be. But for me, I'm experiencing it in a work like in the work category. And so like for me, the way that it's been coming out is like I have like breakdowns in the morning. Like I'll cry, I'm like, oh my god, because I just have so much anxiety waking up and thinking like I'm gonna be fired, someone's gonna tell me everything I did was wrong, and I'm just gonna be stupid and no one's gonna give me work anymore. And then like also when I'm performing tasks, I get so anxious because I'm like a slight perfectionist and also like a people pleaser, just from like childhoods and stuff. And so especially when I'm working on a task, I go over like 30 times, like 40 times, and it's just not necessary. But I've become severely anal because I'm super critical now. And another way that imposter syndrome has just been manifesting is just me beating myself up, me being super critical of myself, me talking awful to myself. And a lot of times we normalize this. We think that this is like okay behavior, this is normal behavior, and it's not. And I think that when we judge ourselves very harshly, when we are super critical of ourselves, sometimes we think that people are looking at us through that same lens, through that same light, because that's how we look at ourselves. And I know that for me is the strongest, especially because like when I was growing up, my mom was super critical of me. You know, she always say I was half-assing something, I was stupid, I'm dumb, I'm never going to do anything, I'll never be able to get anything. Typically when she was in a bad mood, but it wasn't all bad, right? But like when she's in a bad mood. And so that same stuff kind of plays in my head to this day, and that's that same verbiage, that same language is how I talk to myself. It's how I look at myself, and it's how I criticize myself in my head. And those habits are very difficult to break. And you don't even realize that, you know, you don't even realize that you still have those habits until you're triggered. And I didn't realize that I still had those habits until I was literally triggered. Not like literally triggered, like no one triggered it, but just by nature of me starting my job and it being the #1 firm in the world, and just like all the work and just like the people being around the best of the best, like it was triggering for me. And I started talking to myself and treating myself and going back to my childhood self. And it's funny because I had a new hire conference at my job, and they talked about it actually, which is so funny. I thought that was God, because they were talking about how when you first join the firm, you're super excited. So if you look at my old videos, I'm like, I'm the #1 investment bank in the world. And then now I'm like, I'm like crying every single day. But yeah, they literally had like this graph, and it's like when you have first, you're excited. And then there's this phase where you start feeling imposter syndrome, where you start panicking, where you don't feel great, you don't feel good. And then you start feeling, what do they say, when you start learning your job, so then you start on the up and up, so then you feel good because you're like, oh my god. And then there's like the nuances that come out, so then you go right back down. And then eventually you become to stability. And it was crazy because I was like, wow, that resonated so much, and it took a lot of weight off of my shoulders, just because it is more common than what we think it is, right? When you look at people, you can't feel them. Well, you can feel them if you're an empath, right? But you know, if they're a stranger, you're not going to be able to pick up on their emotions as much, versus someone like a personal connection. Like for me, I'm an empath, but I can only really pick up on people's feelings
if I know them, or if it's like a sad feeling. Like I can pick up when people are sad and I might not know you, or if you're lonely or you're insecure. But whatever the case may be, people have great poker faces. So when you look at them, you think they have everything together, they know what they're doing, they're so smart, they're so diligent. And then when you actually talk to people, when you actually, you know, have these shared experiences and you talk to people, people are dealing with the same feelings that you're feeling. They're feeling feelings of failure, they're feeling feelings of doubt, anxiety, stress, not being good enough. And I think it's important that we are kind to ourselves even when it's hard, and it's okay to beat yourself up. Not it's okay, don't beat yourself up, but it's okay to have those feelings and to regress sometimes, because that's human nature. And it's hard within a world where it is super judgmental, it's super critical, it's super harsh, because we don't extend grace to other people. And once you learn to extend grace to yourself, you'll learn to give grace to others. And not to say that the people at my job have, because they've been very graceful with me, they've been very nice to me. Everything that I just had, like, I remember one time I got this assignment and I thought when I logged in the next morning, it was gonna be wrong and they were gonna fire me, and they were just super nice and super friendly, and they were like, you know, if you don't understand anything, just feel free to ask, or whatever the case may be. But I had created this whole anxiety, this whole future event that was never gonna happen, and I created all this stress and this turmoil and pain and trauma on my body and on my mind, and for no reason. And we really have to stop doing that to ourselves, because it wouldn't be life if we didn't get out of our comfort zone. We wouldn't be living life if we didn't experience new things. And by nature of experiencing new things, we don't know the future, we don't know the outcome, we don't know how it's going to turn out, and that's okay. But we have to release control. Release control. Oh my gosh, get to release control. Because we cannot control the future. We cannot. Humans are not possible. We cannot control the future. We do not know the future. We cannot plan for the future because we don't know it. And so you have to stay within the present moment and release the need to control things. And that's literally what I've been doing. I've been controlling. I've been trying to control the future with, you know, projecting this, you know, this future event within my mind that's gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen. Well, it might happen, right? I might get fired, but chances are it's not. But I can't control that, and I can't predict that. So there's no way for me to deal with that. So there's no point for me to constantly keep thinking about these negative events that are gonna happen, because I don't know that they're gonna happen and I can't control that. So we have to release control, and we have to accept ourselves and give grace to ourselves and understand that we're all learning. And again, like, life wouldn't be life if we didn't step out of our comfort zone, if we didn't do new things, if we didn't learn new things, because otherwise we wouldn't be evolving and we wouldn't be growing. And so I think it's just important to, when you find yourself being super critical of yourself, when you find yourself feeling imposter syndrome, that you take a step outside of yourself and observe that. So observe yourself being harsh to yourself, observe yourself, you know, talking very critical of yourself, and realize what you're doing. Because once you become an observer of that, you become present within the moment, and then it's easier for you to turn it off, because you don't have to do that and it's not helping you. And so I've just been trying to consciously do that so I can stop having breakdowns, so I can stop beating myself up, stop being critical of myself, stop being harsh on myself, and stop feeling like a fraud and feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm not meant to be here, I'm not supposed to be here, because God wouldn't put you in a place or in a position that you're not supposed to be in. He wouldn't put you anywhere that he didn't feel you deserve to be, or anywhere that you didn't need to grow, to get to the next level, to get to the next stage, to get to the next phase in your life. So just trust the process, trust that where you're at is where you're meant to be, and just remember to be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and speak positivity into your life and speak love into your life. And I know that that sounds so crazy, it sounds so far-fetched, because I know it's hard for me to do, because again, we're so used to this world where we judge and we're critical of each other. But just be kind to yourself and recognize, once you start to realize how kind you are to yourself, you'll start to extend that same kindness to other people. And it's just a revolving door, right? So as we're kind to ourselves, we're kind to other people, and other people will start being kind to themselves, and they'll start being kinder to other people. But yeah, I just wanted to do like a quick short video on just like imposter syndrome, what I've been dealing with, how I've been trying to handle it, how it's been manifesting outwardly, and just like
you know, just positive words of encouragement to anybody on their journey and anybody who's experiencing imposter syndrome in whatever dynamic that may be, whether it's career, whether you're going to social events, you have social anxiety, friendships, I don't know, whatever the case may be. But just keep tracking along. Remind yourself that you are great, you are strong, you're beautiful, you're handsome, whatever the case may be, and that the world is your oyster and you can do anything. And once you start empowering yourself, you'll realize how strong you actually are. But yes, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I have been really slacking on posting videos, honestly, and I apologize. I'm going to get better at that. It's just that, again, I've just been dealing with like trying to adjust into my new job. So yeah, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, bye guys.